Chairman of the Joint Chiefs.
The rules that we have established with the Ukrainians is to not use U.S. supplied equipment to attack into the geographic space of Russia. And look, they're a country at war. It's an existential threat. They're fighting for their survival. I can't say with definitive accuracy right this minute to you whether that, and I saw the same videos, whether that's U.S. supplied equipment or not, what was the nature of the attack, who did what to whom. I can't say that with definitiveness right this minute. But I can say that we have asked the Ukrainians not to use U.S. supplied equipment for direct attacks into Russia. Why is that? Because we don't want, this is a Ukrainian war. It is not a war between the United States and Russia. It's not a war between NATO and Russia. This is a war between Ukraine and Russia, and we are supporting and supplying and help training and advising and assisting Ukraine. But it is not a direct conflict between the United States and Russia.
And during today's meeting, several allies and partners also discussed plans for training Ukrainian pilots on fourth-generation fighter aircraft, including the F-16. And planning and executing this training will be a significant undertaking, but the coordination of this contact group will help make that possible. And I especially want to thank Denmark and the Netherlands, which have decided to lead a European coalition in providing F-16 training for Ukrainian forces.
This is going to affect readiness. One actually called it potentially catastrophic.
You know, Dan, sometimes when we have these conversations, it sounds like Ukraine is losing on this battlefield. That's not the case. Ukraine has inflicted significant casualties on the Russian forces. They've destroyed an incredible amount of equipment, and this is before we provided them with the capability that they're getting now. So this is additive, and hopefully it will put the Ukrainians in a good place to be able to change the dynamics on the battlefield. And so we'll see. That's our goal, to make sure that we've done everything we can to put them in the right place to be successful.
That is needed at this moment in history for the U.S. to this role.
That, to the chairman's point, we are not at war with Russia. This is Ukraine's fight. Our goal is to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to make sure Ukraine is successful.
F-16s, there's no magic weapons in war. And sometimes certain things get labeled as, this is going to be the magic weapon. There are no magic weapons. An F-16 is not, neither is anything else. And as we look at what the problem to be solved in at the beginning of this war, it was a defensive fight against mechanized armored forces, Russian forces that were coming across the border. What do you need for that? You need anti-armor weapons. You need lots of them. And you had to keep the airspace clear of Russian close air support that would enable Russian ground maneuver. And that's exactly what was provided. So it's not a question of we agree later or agree now or under pressure. That's not at all what's getting done here. This is hardcore military analysis that looks at cost, benefit, and risk, and what is the need on the battlefield now and in the near future. On the debt ceiling piece, Louis, I'm not an economist, but I think if we defaulted, that would have significant economic consequences, which would then translate into national security consequences. Paying troops, the morale of troops, weapon systems, contracts, all of that would be impacted. Readiness clearly would be impacted, so our large-scale exercises that we do at various training centers would probably either slow down or come to a halt in many, many cases. So I think there's no doubt whatsoever that there would be a very significant negative impact on the readiness, morale, and capabilities of the United States military if we defaulted and didn't reach a debt ceiling thing, as well as reputational damage internationally and so on. I think I wouldn't characterize it, I wouldn't use words, to say catastrophic or not. I'm not an economist, but I think it would be very, very significant without a doubt, and it would have absolutely clear, unambiguous implications in national security.
Mr. Secretary, the announcement on this F-16 plan